We are designing and building 100% solar power coffee processing hubs in remote Timor-Leste communities to empower those currently living off-grid through clean, efficient, and sustainable coffee processing, and therefore can provide all year-round electricity for other local services beyond coffee. Our project is a collaboration between Engineers Without Borders Australia and Raw Material, and with the great support from Australian government. Our project aligns well with Timor-Leste Strategic Development Plan that aim by 2030 to have about 50% of its energy supply sourced from renewable. Our project also aligns with Timor-Leste Coffee Sector Development Plan with its 2030 goals of increasing coffee export value by 270%. And our project supports Timor-Leste's commitment to reduce emissions and to increase resilience to climate change.
Coffee forms a cultural and economic cornerstone in Timor-Leste, with just shy of 40% of the population being involved in its production. However, access to high-value markets is very, very limited. In fact, for those communities that rely on coffee for their income, most live below the poverty line. And where we focus our work, household incomes sit between $200 and $500 for the year. That being the case, you can understand that naturally there's not much profit available for reinvestment, and so we find ourselves in a situation where the trees are very old and farms only produce about 20% of their potential yield. Our project aims to improve household incomes initially by accessing the specialty market and doing it in a way that simultaneously helps improve the environment. We start by installing solar arrays in the processing hubs of two off-grid communities called Raimutin and Koileki, with a total output of 34 kilowatts in peak and also 20 kilowatt-hour solar batteries. It allows us to upgrade the processing facilities for a clean and very predictable way of improving quality up to that level that the specialty coffee market really expects. Also, this allows in the future for scaling to be carried out by local teams who have learned through this initial pilot program.
As a tropical country, Timor-Leste has abundant solar opportunity. In harnessing it, this project reduces carbon emission by avoiding the use of fossil fuel from otherwise a diesel-run generator, therefore contributing to the reduction of emissions of approximately an initial 40 tons of CO2 per year. Outside of coffee season, access to power will support local fabrication, such as high-quality welding, therefore reducing reliance on imported equipment for infrastructure, including for during future expansion. This will also support refrigeration of fresh produce, phone charging station, satellite internet connection, and this can also enable remote jobs while keeping talent and the cultural knowledge within the community. This project also promotes inclusive development by promoting women and people living with disability to training and employment. Now, we are 9 months into the project, and so far we have completed several community consultations to engage and collaborate with the community on the design and implementation. We have delivered our first solar panel to Raimutin, and also we have finalized the design and testing of the coffee processing system, and therefore we have produced the best practice guide and used video. Now this has been translated to the local language.
As we look to the future, we acknowledge that this collaboration on expanding off-grid community wet mills is one piece of a much larger strategy that's been underway for a few years. This is important because with the right structure in place, Timor-Leste can leverage its natural advantages that it has when producing high-quality coffee. It's got great altitude, naturally shade-grown, and also it's organic by default. So to that end, we've been developing our Center for Coffee Excellence that will be the place that we can link all of these quite disparate, far-flung processing hubs to one place where they can access education services such as the Plant to Port program that we have already running in Colombia. We want to bring that to Timor-Leste along with access to harvest finance and essentially exporting services to ensure that these high quality products reach the new markets that are willing to pay for them. Also crucially, it's time to start producing new baby trees. We're starting with 100,000 trees per year, focused on testing climate resilient, disease resistant and high yielding varieties to ensure that they are in fact the right varieties to roll out across the nation in good harmony with the natural forest cover that is already there. This is critical because studies have shown a very sound-biteable, almost too good to be true statistic, which is simply improving the output of the country's coffee by double will halve the poverty rate. It's almost too simple to be true, but there it is. Ultimately, by harnessing this opportunity of solar power and integrating it into a system that aligns incentives to ensure that this is sustained long-term, making sure that it's part of an economy that's already in place, we can not only just see an uptick in economic benefit initially, but rather this is a catalyst for ongoing broad development.
So, as coffee farmers see increased income and as solar power coffee processing bring reliable energy, we create opportunities for other industry to grow. And therefore, these hubs can become the pillar for a diversified, resilient economy. Lastly, we want to say, what starts with a cup of coffee can evolve into a sustainable future for Timor-Leste, where communities strive through both heritage and innovation, connected to the world, yet grounded in their cultural roots. This is more than just a coffee. It's a blueprint for a lasting prosperity. Thank you.